Hey guys, how's it going, and welcome back to the ultimate guide for Dark Souls 2. Today we're going to cover the first part of Broom Tower, so we're going to go grabbing every item on the way to the Scorching Iron Scepter.
Yeah, so
that's actually the majority of it, because right after the Scorching Iron Scepter there's only a few things you need to grab before going to each boss, so we're covering quite a lot of Broom in this video.
yeah, although I mean, to be fair, the item run after the Scorched Iron Scepter does take quite a lot of time, because there's a lot of hidden shit.
There's a few little hidden platforms you can jump to and stuff like that as well as an invisible wall on the elevator that Tony did not know about. If I let Tony record this by himself, he would have missed like 5 different items.
Yeah.
Essentially. We would have missed out some of like the more sneaky things, like there's a few things that you can do, like blow out some walls and stuff like that, and there's hidden walls that Tony otherwise didn't know about.
So obviously we're on the way to the boss. We cut out a lot of the footage for this because he literally just kept doing his flame breath over and over and over again, so yeah, so that you know how to do the Iron King, that's fine. We've already got a guide for that, so we're just showing you the way there, really.
I mean, we used a halberd for the Iron King, didn't we?
We did.
If you haven't done them yet, then just in case you guys aren't in the know, the rapier is like the boss killing weapon of the game.
Yeah, well, I think we'll mention it at this beginning of every guide.
Especially
when it comes to part 3, chances are this is how you want to kill Ludin Zalin easily. This particular setup.
Yeah, when it comes to the third DLC, this will be really handy. Like, I mean, we'll obviously see how effective it is against Ava before we decide to use it on Ludin Zalin, because that'll be a pretty good indication. But first thing we're doing right now is we're going to the first part of Broom Tower, and there's a few like items and stuff at the start of the game that you might otherwise not know the purpose for immediately.
So remember this room here with the sort of gravestones in it, just like the opening teleportation room for the first DLC, if you put your summon sign down there, it will show up for the optional area where there's also gravestones for other players.
You show up in 2 areas.
2?
So you show up in Sorolon's memory, or you show up at Smelter Demon.
Oh, I didn't know.
Because because both of them have those little the little summon pads.
Cool.
So you can do both. And summons actually get drops for beating Sorolon, so it's pretty good. You can get Sorolon's armor as drops, so you might get lucky. I don't know if that applies to people that don't have the DLC and are like doing the Sorolon memory via the little summon pads, but if you're not, then you're likely to get some +5 Sorolon armor just for beating the boss, which is quite handy.
So what you just picked up there is smelter wedges. Now this is a mule character and it doesn't allow us to drop our smelter wedges, but if you follow exactly what we do, you will have exactly enough smelter wedges for when it comes to doing the Fume Knight. To basically, you need these smelter wedges to destroy the souls of Nidalia, which you'll see right now coming out the ground, and you put a smelter wedge in there and it drops a part of our soul. Now these all have like little random effects, like for instance this one will cast Outcry.
Yeah.
Now the ones around the Fume Knight heal them, so you want to have at least 4 smelter wedges by the time you do the Fume Knight.
Yeah, they have like a warmth effect. Those ones are especially annoying with Fume Knight, because when it goes to half HP he buffs.
And runs about a lot.
In a way he buffs, like he uses only one of his weapons. But you see that when we get to Fume Knight, but it does make the fight significantly harder when it goes into stage 2 and you're not prepared for it and he heals at the same time. It's quite annoying.
Exactly, but the game does give you exactly four later on at a part, so it's quite clearly it's meant to be you go there, you get them before the Smelter Demon.
By the time you finish the DLC, you'll have all 12 parts, I think it is, of Nidalia's soul, which you use to make Outcry. Now it's not a boss soul, so we can tell you this right now. You pick up fractions of Nidalia's soul that you can't consume, you can't use. It's okay, you'll pick up a few of them as the game goes on. Once you get enough, they combine into one soul, and after that you can trade that for Outcry, or I think there's something else. Okay, so Soul of Nidalia is also used for the Chime of Screams, which has notably bad casting speed, like insanely bad. It's like 5 times longer than other chimes. It's stupid.
Yeah, it does have its uses, but it's not good for PvP. Like, I don't know, like if you're just using it to heal or something.
But you'd still be better using a priest chime, because healing isn't based off of your chime, it's based off of your faith stat. But anyway, that enemy we just killed there was the Ashen Warrior. These guys drop, the sword ones of course drop the Ashen Warrior sword, the axe ones drop a battle axe, and the ones with a halberd drop a halberd. It's more like a spear.
Yeah,
but they drop a halberd, and they could also drop charcoal resin and small orange burrs.
Now the Ashen Warrior sword is actually pretty good, so...
Yeah, these guys are also immune to poison, by the way. And apparently their weakness, according to the wiki, their weakness is slashing. Their slashing defense is pretty low.
I'm not sure who would even have worked that out, but apparently that's a thing.
It doesn't matter. The rapier does so much fucking damage that you can just blaze through it anyway.
As you can see, the rapier with the ring setup that we've got, which is the stone ring, the flinge ring, and
Leo ring probably.
no, it's stone ring, flinge ring, and ring of blades.
And
does
third dragon ring as well. Yeah.
Yeah. The rapier can really take these guys out quite easily.
This is only at 14 dexterity as well, by the way. We're at 20 strength, 14 dex because this is the halberd build. But the rapier was 2-shotting most of the enemies in this DLC, sometimes 3-shotting them.
Yeah, so I mean, you can see that the rapier's. I mean, the rapier, the greatsword, and the halberd are all equally pretty good weapons for these areas. To be fair, I mean, the greatsword plus the stone ring is really effective against these guys. So.
Yeah, you do a lot of damage and you stagger them every time. But I mean, the rapier with the stone ring and the ring of blades will do enough damage anyway, so you don't really have to worry about that.
Depends if you like the extra speed or not. So it's kind of just down to how you want to play the game.
I'm partial to the Leo ring over the ring of blades when it comes to the rapier sometimes though, because if you can time your counter hits well, then you're going to out damage a ring of blades every time.
Now the part that we're coming up to here is actually a bit of a pain in the arse. Now there's kind of like a technique to doing it.
Oh, remember to equip your alluring skulls, by the way, because the Ashen Warriors get distracted by them, which is really handy considering you can get them to the other side of the room and then you can plug this Ashen Idol.
Yeah, so I never
didn't do that.
Yeah, I didn't do that, but
you don't have enough time to do that. You never have enough time to do that, guys. Never. So what you want to do is distract. Well, you want to distract them all, obviously, and pull them away from the Ashen Idol so you can get the hit. But if you've got alluring skulls, you can throw them off to the side, and you can then obviously use the what are they called? Welter smedges. You can use the welter smedge on the Ashen Idol. So
basically, what the best option here is actually. Using the smelter wedge here and killing this thing. Now you don't actually want to fight these things right at this point because they all gang up on you immediately and there's 3 of them right there, so that can be a pain. I mean, obviously you can fight them if you want, if you're good enough, who cares, but what we do is we then go back up and there's like another sort of secret way to get a few items, so you can go that way and it kind of makes it easier. So you'll see what we're doing.
Now the thing I was going to say is that you can probably go this way first. I done it this way first time around and it made it a little bit easier. If I remember to equip alluring skulls, then you can throw them from the top and distract them, and that would probably make it really easy to get that Ashen Idol. But this is a little area here that has, I think it was human effigy, and
just got, I mean, of all the times. Now these guys absolutely have quite a lot of hot poise, but the greatsword with the stone ring fucks them up so hard. These guys are like, these are the possessed armors. They can drop the possessed armor sword, which is kind of like a broadsword. They can drop the possessed armor greatbow, which the alone greatbow is still better than, and they can drop titanite chunks, which are always a good thing to have. Apparently they're a little bit weak to lightning, but they're pretty strong to dark, and they've got pretty good magic resistance as well. You can poison them, I know that. Now normally that guy is standing a little bit further ahead, so you can actually drop attack him most of the time. For some reason he's standing a little bit further back. So basically what you want to do is like drop attack him, but when you come down here the enemies are a lot more split up, so it's a lot easier to deal with like 5 or 6 Ashen Warriors when they're split, as opposed to dealing with 3 or 4 right there. In a cluster with a rapier. Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of better to just go over and get the items. Yeah, there's 2 in this room. This is Dance of Fire. Yeah, Dance of Fire. It's a pretty cool spell. When you cast Pyromancy. When you cast it, it has a starting point that's diagonally to the side of you, and then it cuts horizontally across the screen. It's kind of cool. You can use it sometimes, like if someone like back rolls away from you, you can use it, or if an enemy's closing in, then you can use it as well to sort of throw up a wall of fire in front of them, doing an alright amount of damage. Yeah. So at this point, I'm switching over to the greatsword, I think, just because I wanted to just show, how to deal with enemies with different weapons, whatever. It seemed to be like the reasonable thing to do, I guess. Yeah. But I mean, I didn't have too much trouble with these guys with a rapier, so you can obviously use the rapier and just go ham on their faces. Yeah. It's pretty good that way too. So there we go, got the greatsword set up, which if you're following along with the guides, or a lot of people use the greatsword generally, so... Yeah. So there's these guys kind of pop out as you come down. More Ashen Warriors, yeah. There should be 2 of them, I think. This is where you'll encounter your first one with a halberd, I think. Yeah. They can actually be quite tough, like, you know, for a normal enemy.
They're very similar to spear hollows, but they do a lot of damage and they have a lot of HP as well. Like their moveset is very similar to that of a spear hollow, and I guess it is sort of a halberd.
As you can see, the jump and attack done pretty well against
Down
them.
in one.
So.
Yeah, we're at 28 strength. Sorry, I said earlier it was 20. I realised that we're also built for the greatsword as well. That's why we're at 28
Yeah.
strength. And,
But that you still don't
14
get
for
much
halberd.
scaling off the rapier from 28 strength.
I mean, you don't get any scaling off the rapier from 28 strength.
I thought it scaled like a C or a D on strength.
I don't remember it ever
Oh.
having strength scaling. Regardless, like we'll get 14 dex and the rapier's still fucking flying through this area.
Yeah, I mean, even if I had base, like whatever.
Yeah,
it's still doing that.
base stats is still a pretty good rapier.
I mean, you could make a raw rapier if you have base stats, like for the rapier, like if you're not getting much
I
scaling.
think even at 14 dex, the raw rapier is worse. I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, you can obviously check when you're making it. You know.
Yeah.
So this bit it goes over into Steven's footage.
Yeah.
So he's using the halberd at this point because I kind of fucked this bit up really hard. Steven done it so much better than me. So.
I still fucked up a little bit too. Now these guys are cask runners, and these guys will explode if you hit them or if they go towards the flaming idols. They drop black fire bombs and human effigies. Now these guys you actually want to use to your advantage. Now I'm gonna fuck it up here anyway.
Yeah, we didn't have any black fire, or we did, or I can't remember, but you can use black fire bombs if you have them here, or normal fire bombs.
I completely forgot that they explode when you hit them because I've not played Dark Souls 2 since like before Bloodborne came out.
Now the issue is you can punch them and they don't explode, which
you can direct them.
Yeah, if you punch them, they kind of run away from you, like directly away from you. But if you get them down past half health, they end up trying to attack you and crush you with a barrel. It's kind of strange.
It's pretty funny.
But I mean, obviously here you want to kind of just let this possessed armor get killed by the fire thing. But black fire bombs here is definitely your like, helpful.
Yeah, I mean, it pretty much finished them off. I mean, that wouldn't have one-shot him, by the way. You still need to hit him a few times, but you can manipulate his movements pretty easily into the fire just by like dashing around him and stuff like that.
I mean, that bit isn't really the issue. It's the hard part is the bit that comes like after this section anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm really bad at this game right now.
However, there's some great strategies that Steven showed me from his New Game Plus 7 runs, which gave him a lot of insight into the next part that's coming up, which I think people will probably have had a lot of trouble with.
It was the only way to do it in New Game Plus 7. There was no other way, other than one person run down and play bait and probably die, so you can open the door and then continue from there by just dying and moving on. But these guys are pretty simple to take care of. Now this one here, you want to attack from outside of that area because you don't want to break that chest that's behind them or your loot will turn into rubbish.
Either that or you don't really care because it is only assessed as plus 7 or 8, but it's up. I mean, if you want that, then...
It made the UFC streams a possibility because it gave us a pretty much almost fully upgraded Cestus, so I'm not complaining about that. But yeah, just try not to break the box obviously, unless for some reason you want rubbish. I don't know why you'd want rubbish, but
yeah, I don't even think there is any use for rubbish. Like,
there isn't.
There was in Dark Souls 1 use for rubbish. You got like a Titanite chunk for it, but
chunks have upped their game. They know they're worth more than that.
Yeah.
Fucking
So
crows.
you can't get into that room from here. That's on the item run, probably in part 2.
Probably in the next part, yeah.
But I mean, here we are at this bonfire. But you know, there's still the first thing you really want to do with this area of the game, like overall, is get to the foyer bonfire. If you get there, then you know you can get to all the other places.
Foyer is sort of like the Firelink Shrine of this DLC. It's like the center hub of the entire area.
Yeah, pretty much.
You can move between each area pretty reliably. Now you are supposed to go down that way first. Yeah. Sorry, I'm thinking we're one level below.
Yeah.
But this is the level you want to be on. You want to knock these guys down. You can stand in front of them and they'll get scared, or you can punch them, that works too. But you just want to knock these guys down into this little pit.
Yeah, remember, fists won't make them blow up, but... Now, this door doesn't open unless you do this. This is the only way to do this.
You can apparently also attack the door. You can fire an arrow from if you go down where that the barrow guy was. You can get the right angle where you can fire an arrow from the ladder through the bars and hit the explosives behind it. But that's the quickest way I did it, and you want to take him out because that guy throws firebombs at you and he's a bit of a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I mean, it's one less enemy to contend with that falls down, so it's just making this bit a little bit easier. So, I mean, obviously, you know, if you're experienced, it's not going to give you any hassle, but to a new player, this will probably be a total pain in the arse.
So this is where we play the waiting game. Now we're going to close the door when we get in here because we don't want any of the barrow guys to run out because they're sort of the key to the way we do this, and that is we want all these guys to fall down the holes in the floor. So we're just going to give them a little bit of persuasion, nothing too nasty, and then we're going to wait because eventually they will walk under the giant's armpits that are blasting fire, and he'll explode. That giant, by the way, we can go over its drops right now. They're Iron Warriors. Their drops are the Smelter Hammer, which is 70 strength requirement. It looks like a giant chicken wing, or a cock, depending on how your mind goes.
Yeah.
The Minotaur Helm, which is the highest poise of any helmet in the game. It's otherwise not very good. Titanite Slab, or Fire Drake Stone.
I've never seen them drop a slab.
I've never seen them drop anything other than the Smelter Hammer or the Minotaur Helm. They've never dropped anything else for me. But there was something like I managed to pull this off in NG+7, where I was able to shoot through those bars if I got really close to them. But whatever, it didn't happen there. But that's it. You just gotta wait until they blow up.
Yeah, it really pays to be patient in this part, because when I was doing this, he ended up sort of he just walked around this part here and just kept swinging at nothing. He just kept attacking.
Just so you know, you wanna wait up there. You don't want to drop down and try and bait him towards the guys, because when that thing buffs them, the explosive guys won't kill them. But before the idol goes off and buffs them, you'll be able to kill the guy with like one explosive dude. But if the idol buffs them, then you're otherwise kind of screwed, because then you need to get the idol while that giant guy's there, and all of these guys do.
Yeah, so basically just don't jump down there.
Yeah,
until
just
the big guy's dead.
Be patient, like just wait it out. You'll get it. Don't worry about it. And of course, make sure you're picking up all these Nadalia souls as you kill these idols, because you're gonna want all the shards of them to be able to make Outcry or the Chima Screams for whatever reason.
And Outcry is a very good pyromancy. It's just basically a quick firestorm that has like a force in, initially does a force.
It's a Wrath of God and firestorm, and it's very dense as well. There are a lot of pillars in such a small cluster. It does a hell of a lot of damage if you hit someone with it. So let's just switch back to your footage now, yeah?
Yeah.
I can see you just picked up your bloodstain.
Yeah, because that was when I jumped in.
Yeah.
So yeah, kill that guy. As you can see, Greatsword makes light work of them. Other weapons with lower, poise stats.
Being able to break their poise is a very, very good thing. It's very handy.
Yeah, I've played this with smaller weapons, and they can kind of fuck you up if you don't break the poison. Now, basically, there's like an enemy that comes up behind you here. You need to remember that, because he can just sort of blindside you from the back, and you don't want that happening.
Yeah.
So once you've dealt with that guy, just run back here, and this cunt will pop up. So deal with this bastard, and then
I put the greatsword to good use when it came to like the little section after this, like the little bit down below. I got rid of a guy really fucking quickly. I one-shot him basically when I used the ye old golf swing against the archer. Knocked him right off the fucking edge of the platform.
So doing that knocked him off, and then that killed it. So these
soldier guys are like these are the fume sorcerers, by the way. Should probably go over their drops while we're fighting them.
Yeah.
Fume sorcerers. These guys drop the fume sorcerer set, which is it doesn't
look like that.
They're women. They're female characters because it looks fucking stupid on a man. They also drop the Umbral Dagger, which is a very high dex scaling dagger. It's not going to outdamage a regular dagger, I don't think. And they drop the Blue Dagger, which, if I remember, has some sort of extra property. I remember it does something. Increases all spell damage by 5%. While it's held in the opposite hand.
So at this
and
part
and it also decreases fire, magic, dark, and lightning resistance by 200 when it's your active weapon. So you get 5% extra damage, but you lose out defenses. A lot like the Crisp Blade from Demon Souls.
Yeah.
It pretty much is the Crisp Blade.
Now, the first thing you want to do is, there is other areas with other items, but you're so close to the foyer bonfire that you kind of just want to come here initially, because if you die, you don't want to be going all the way back.
Yeah, you don't want to run through all that. The foyer is like very good. Once you get the Scorching Iron Scepter, the foyer is like your way to go from the top to the bottom immediately.
Yeah.
And really, really quickly. Which reminds me, the next time we record, we'll have to go all the way up to the very top, like back to the first bonfire, because there's an item up there that we need to get the Scorching Iron Scepter for. Better not forget about that.
So, anyway, now we are going back to what is, after this item run, what is by far the second worst area of any Souls game in terms of just making you so unimaginably, inconceivably angry.
Okay, you made a big mistake here. See, if you guys are using the greatsword, instead of going behind the archer, just run up and golf swing him and you'll knock him off the edge. That's exactly what I did. I just ran up and used the two-handed running attack on the greatsword and launched him off the edge of the platform that he's on. That worked out really well because that one shot and I didn't get ganged up on like you did while going for a backstab.
Now, there is a bunch of enemies that jump out the fucking just the wall.
They all jump out like the flat panel of the wall.
So remember that the reason we're running over these snowmen is some of them have items in them. That's why we're going over all of them. So
just so we don't miss anything, because we don't want to miss anything.
And there's 3 big souls in this area, so you definitely want to pick them up.
This will be the Fume drop, wasn't it? That's Soul of a Great Hero, actually, so it wasn't the Fume Sorceress drop. Maybe she hit that when she fell.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know why that one would have been. That one would have been bust open anyway.
Okay, so off to this part, which I'm sure if you're using this guide to look for an easy way of doing this, there isn't an easy way of killing this guy.
There really isn't. Because
he's such a fucking dick. The only thing that can happen is if you get lucky and you can golf swing him off the edge and you don't need to deal with his bullshit.
Okay, so this section is especially annoying, so we're just going to suicide run the first part of it.
Yeah, like, you can get lucky and sometimes not have to suicide run it, but basically there's an Ashen Idol, you know, down the stairs, and it will constantly curse you and revive the enemies.
So you don't want that, and it's just really annoying because once your curse bar fills, you just keep losing health like some sort of really fast draining poison. Now I'm just trying to get lucky here and go for the parries on this fucking guy, but he's being super annoying. Yeah,
I mean, whoever programmed the AI for him is literally made him like smarter than an actual human, because
or at least smarter than a Scottish human.
Yeah, at least. So he just keeps running away and he just tries to get you ganked.
I just gave up. I was like, fuck it, let him run.
Yeah.
But this is like the suicide run because the idol is like the biggest problem, so we want to take care of that idol immediately. And then we're going to come back and deal with Maldron because he's a fucking dick.
And we've already went to the foyer bonfire, so it's fine.
Yep. So this is like me just gearing up for war, I think.
Yeah, you've thought that the halberd would be the better option. You'll see, this is his footage. In my footage, you'll see that probably the greatsword's maybe slightly better. But, you know, it doesn't particularly matter. Really, the whole issue is get rid of that Ashen Idol and then just take care of the enemies one by one.
You want to drop that Ashen Idol especially quickly, so I'm just running past everything here because it doesn't matter. I do make the mistake of letting my stamina fully drain, which means I can't sprint immediately. If you let your stamina just not drain and then let go, then it will regain and you can sprint fast. Now what I did just there is I ran very close to the right side of Maldron, so the attack to the right. It gives you more time to get into the Ashen Idol. And now I'm just desperately trying to get the fuck out of there and it doesn't look like I make it. No.
Nah.
There is no way out of that.
So on the way back, which is now going to be my footage, you'll see in a second.
By the way guys, Maldron doesn't drop anything, but in the third DLC he makes an appearance and he does drop stuff, so that's pretty good. He will of course drop an Ostone if you're in the Champions Covenant, but that's pretty much like, you don't even need to point that out at this stage.
Yeah. Now, what I initially tried to do here was see if I can hit Maldron off the edge using a golf swing and drop him immediately from the start, but they made it so that big cog protects him from doing that. So
because they're the best.
Yeah. So I'd done it in my time before I died. I'd done that, and so I don't have footage of him dropping off immediately. But the cog just saves him, and not only that, he can apparently jump from the cog off the edge. So that's a thing. So gotta take care of these enemies now because I'm not getting cursed and they're not getting buffed. So, you know, there's that. Now you can drop off from here to get the item. It's not really worth it. It's like a blackweed bam or some shit like that.
Because they're all fucking amazing. Thanks, more strength for 10 seconds.
Okay, it's an alone great bow, but whatever.
Well, I mean, that's pretty fucking good because that saves you farming alone nights, and this looks... Oh, that could have been so nice.
I know. But
you don't even need to jump there. I think you could have just sprinted into it.
Trying to kill him at this point, but then obviously because I jumped on the platform, there's this thing with the fucking halberd that shows up. Just can't catch a break, and then he is coming up because then, you know, there's another possessed armor guy.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of dudes in this area, guys.
Now what I'm trying to do is, he seems to be sticking about here because there's some enemies, so I'm trying to golf swing him and I get him and fuck him. Fuck him.
I mean, if there's one way to go for the flashy finish, you really nailed it there.
That is pretty much the only thing that we've been able to find that...
I mean, that helped. I just fucking 1v1 me broed them. Yeah. And I just outplayed him. Went for backstabs and stuff like that. Really just abused the mechanics of the game to your advantage when it comes to a guy like him. He's got like fucking 4,000 HP.
I know, it's fucking insane.
It's retarded. He's got an insane amount of HP. And down here's the chest with the Majestic Greatsword in it. The Majestic Greatsword is notable because a few you Dark Souls 1 Artorias of the Abyss fans will be very happy with that because it's pretty much the Abyss Greatsword. its stats are actually, considering the way the weapon works, its stats are pretty good, and it's unique in the sense that the weapon is much better in your left hand than your right hand.
Yeah.
The weapon is insanely good in the left hand. It's one-handed. L2 is this like double spin attack that has knockback. It's an amazing wake up for PvP. If you time it right, they just can't escape, and it knocks them on their ass, and you can chain them with it if your timing's on point.
Not only that, if you dual wield that sword with another great sword and you do
the power stance heavy attack, like with the L2, it is fucking awesome. I mean, it's hardly ever going to hit anything, but you do a pretty good flip attack.
Yeah, it's like a big jumping, flipping, spinning bullshit move.
There is one very deadly combo that is almost always going to kill your opponent, and that is if you two-hand the sword, the Majestic Greatsword. If you hit them with an L2, that's a poke. The poke stuns them for a very long period of time. Enough time that you can press R2 and do the front flip attack and slam them and pancake them. Huh. The R2, the L2, R2, if the poke hits them like dead on, it hits them, they're stunned. If you're locked on and you hit R2, you're hitting them with the flip attack every time. They can't get out of it. The L2 poke just does too much poise damage. This is a very good combo. And then you one-hand it, and if they're not dead and they try to stand up, you hit them with a wake-up spinner-rooney, and it fucking annihilates them, and then you win.
Back in the foyer, there's a Spellport string +3.
Yep.
And now we're going to get the Scorching Iron Scepter, which is pretty much the key to unlocking all the lifts and shit.
And this is where we're introduced to a thing that is only ever done in this section and nowhere else. The holes in the wall.
Oh yeah.
There is one more hole in the wall, but there are a couple of the walls here that look not right. They're like actually bricked and they look broken and stuff.
But they're actually very hard to spot.
I mean, they would if you're not really like paying max attention, like if you're not examining the screen with like a fucking combing through it pixel by pixel, you might not notice.
I had no idea it existed until you showed me.
Exactly. So it was me that showed Tony the two walls that were here, as well as the other one that's up by the other welter smedges.
Yep. So this isn't one of them.
No, I was looking to see, because I know there's one like on the face of one of the idols that I was looking for. But these things move, by the way, if you hit them. So we're just going to send that down there, and it'll blow a hole. It'll blow up the Fume Sorceress, along with the barrel guy. So we can work with that. And this is the wall I'm talking about right here. You can see the bricks don't look quite right on it. Like, you wouldn't notice that unless you were going pixel by pixel, of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe you would not quite pixel by pixel, but you know what I mean. It's not overly obvious like most other fucking like traps and shit like that are in games.
For some reason, that didn't even move. Not even the second time.
But it moved on the backswing.
Yeah, it moved when I didn't hit it.
It moved when I swung the wrong way.
So yeah, we're just opening up that gate. But
we want to take care of these Fume Sorcerers because they have a ranged attack that's super fucking annoying. I actually find it better if there's only one of them. Instead of like avoiding that orb attack that explodes into the AoE, you may as well just take it so that it doesn't like, because you don't want it to limit your movement, which is what it does. It limits your movement while damaging you. You may as well just take the little tiny orb instead of taking the giant AoE as well.
Yeah.
Just take the little orb. It does far less damage, and it, obviously your movement isn't restricted to now you can't go backwards, which is always a bad place to be. If you don't have a retreat option, then it's usually a bad thing that you're doing.
So we're going to take care of this Fume Sorceress, and there we go. That was much easier than the fucking first one.
The rolling attack on the Ultra Greatsword is actually really good. It's like a rolling poke. It does a lot of damage.
I know.
And apparently it works with the Leo ring too, which is hilarious. You got like 50 strength on an Ultra Greatsword with the Leo ring and do a rolling attack to a boss, and you'll take off like fucking half its health.
So getting the fist out, and we're going to punch this bastard until it.
We're just going to use some persuasion, some domestic persuasion.
Now, what you can do is, I didn't have any black fire bombs, so I got a fire arrow, and I'm going to shoot it at this thing. Now, this thing tried to attack me because I got it down to too little health because it rammed itself into the spiky wall. So what I'm going to do is bait it towards me this time as opposed to away from me. Now you're running
away from it. Oh, how the hunter has become the hunted.
I know. So, but what I do is then I get it to here and then I just fire an arrow into it. So, yeah. See, I'm pretty smart, me, sometimes.
You didn't even know this thing fucking existed if it wasn't for me.
Yeah, suck a dick. Right, anyway, so you get 8 petrified dragon bone out of this box.
Which is fucking amazing. That is a lot of petrified bone.
It is, it is.
That is the most petrified bone in a single location in the game, and it's in one chest.
I mean,
I don't even think you get that much petrified bone in a single area of the game. It's all like you get more petrified bone in that one chest than you do in the rest of the game.
Now, after like playing this area as much as I have been, I've really started to like this DLC a lot more. It used to be one that I didn't like as much, but I really like Broom after finding out all its secrets and stuff.
Like the only part of Broom that I really dislike is the smelter area, because it's meant to be co-op. You can't deny that it's meant to be co-op. Look at the fucking state of the place.
But it's been haphazardly done as well.
Yeah, it's just been like, oh, we'll put loads of guys here so that you have to summon a buddy and then you can divide and conquer. But that takes completely away from the lone wolf experience.
Yeah,
completely. It makes it just infuriating. It's like what they done with the Frigid Outskirts. It's as if they made it so that you would co-op that area, but that doesn't help because neither one of you can see a fucking thing.
Yeah. Instead of making the co-op areas like you can only do this with 2 people, not a case of like you can do it with 1 person, but it's just fucking annoying because there's just tunnels of enemies.
Obviously, you can't do it with only 2 people. We're obviously going to do that area for you guys and show you how to do it. We're obviously going to do
one person, but you know.
Yeah, but I mean, your life is far easier with 2 people when it comes to those areas.
Yeah, no,
like particularly this smelter area is just so much easier when you use a co-op, bud.
So anyway, what we're doing is we're baiting this whatever the fuck they're called again.
Iron Giant.
Can't believe I got that dodge, by the way. But yeah, so what we're gonna do is basically, you know, just showing you an easy, like you could just poison them if you wanted to, but what you can do is get a black firebomb. And by the way, how I killed this guy was actually stylish as fuck, because I'm like, where did he go? But he actually came round that way. So you just want me to bait him into this bit near these guys, and then just
pull the trigger.
Yeah, so it wasn't close enough to that one, but done.
It was close enough to them. So it seems then, like, if you detonate the bombs by yourself, does it do more damage? Because I remember in my run when he detonated like an entire stack of barrels, it barely done any damage, and I had to take off like the last 2/3 of his health.
Yeah.
So it seems like if you initiate the fire or if you initiate the explosion over him, it seems to be better.
Yeah, I've noticed that. It does seem to be slightly.
That's pretty good to know then. But I mean, that's it. There's only one more enemy type in this game that we're gonna see, in this DLC. Sorry, that we're going to see in this video anyway. I don't think you get a new enemy until you go to Smelter.
Unless
Smelter has new enemies.
Unless you count the summon, no.
No, I don't. Not including the summon. I mean, the only difference is Sir Alon has Alone Knights, but you've been there already.
Yeah, although they are tougher than normal Alone Knights.
You've dealt with Alone Knights. Why didn't you get the shortcut gate?
It didn't matter.
There's a lever there, by the way, for a shortcut just at the top of that ladder in case you guys, if you want to get it, it leads you back to the foyer. It's a very good shortcut.
Yeah, it means you don't need to go through that maze bit.
Yeah, you don't have to go through. Although you pulled all the shortcuts and stuff, it saves you going back through there. But definitely get that shortcut just in case.
These enemies acted kind of strange to me. Not one of them went on fire.
These ones don't set themselves on fire. These ones, they don't set themselves on fire. It's the scorching iron scepter.
Yeah, but but they can go on fire if you get them down to low enough health. But none of them did.
No, they only go on fire if they get caught in an explosion. But these guys are really weird. These guys are called scorchers. Their drops are wilted dusk hair, bonfire aesthetics, and dung pies. I guess this is a sort of throwback to the ogres that were in Blighttown.
Yeah.
They have a self-destruct attack that you really want to exploit. That you just get close, hit them, and they'll like arch back and they'll start to glow and explode. Now, when they're not on fire, they can cancel the self-destruct, but when they're on fire, they can't. So a smart thing to do is these pots on the left are covered in oil, so you can set them on fire, and then it will set these guys alight, and then you just bait the explosion. But they are faster when they're on fire, so prepare for that.
Yeah, don't worry. You'll see them on fire. You'll see how to bait the explosion later on in this section. If
or another smart thing you can do is you can punch them with a pyromancy flame to set them on fire, then get the fuck out of dodge while they explode.
Or you can also use a flame butterfly and hit them with a torch as well.
Yeah, pretty much anything that will ignite them, you can do that. Like this guy was about to explode. You've seen the glow there, but he didn't get enough time. But I usually just bait the explosion and then back out.
Right, now you can drop down into this room below here, but I literally
it's
didn't
not
even do
worth it.
I couldn't bother. You get a dried route out of it. That's
a dried route.
So just don't even fucking bother with that bit. It's just not worth the time and effort.
And this is Quicksword Rachel, the really fucking stupid AI.
Oh yeah, right. So there is a fantastic way of just abusing the AI so hard here. Chances are a lot of you have figured this bit or this
Are you going to do
strategy
it?
out. Yeah, I do.
Alright, okay then. I was going to call you an idiot if you didn't. Did you try to go for a plunging attack on the ladder?
Yeah, apparently it doesn't work.
Nah, I think she's too low.
Here's what you do. You could fight her like mano a mano or mano a womano or whatever.
I mean, if you want to.
It's just basically just you know, it's normal NPC. But you can do this. I didn't have a flame butterfly for some reason or a firebomb.
So you're trying to position the giant pot between the two of you.
Yeah, pretty much. But again,
there you go, you got it. So now that the pot's on fire, you can punch it with a pyromancy flame, of course, or set it light with your torch, as ever. Now what we need to do is lock onto her and keep circling and keep the giant on fire thing between you and her, and she will just burn herself out.
I think the joke was when we were recording this was you can tell how stubborn she is because she's a woman. So she's just like, look, I've made my bed, I'm going to lie in it.
Yep, typical women. She'll cross hell just to get to you. She'll even willingly stay in hell just to have even the inkling that she's getting close to you.
Just to spite me. She's like, no, you're doing nothing to me, not even bothering me.
Oh, you want to use this? Fine, use it. See how far it gets you. But this is how you take care of Quicksword Rachel. You can fight her mano a mano. She has a hell of a lot of poise. When she two-hands her Dragon Lake Sword and you swing it, you can deflect off of it.
And she puts on resins and shit.
Yeah, she uses poison resin, lightning resin. She uses quite a few resins actually. Let's see if the wiki tells us what ones she uses. Apparently if you use Seed of a Tree of Giant, she'll go around killing enemies for you, which is fucking hilarious. It doesn't say, it just says she can use various resins to buff her weapon.
Okay.
I know she has used poison resin before.
Yeah,
I know
she
she's
used poison
lightning resin. I don't know if I don't think she's ever used magic resin with me, but I mean she probably uses one of every resin at least for someone.
Yeah.
There's probably someone that's seen all the other resins.
Okay, so there's a few doors here, but you don't need to open all of them. Some of them just have enemies in them.
One of them literally leads to another door to open.
Yeah. So I mean,
It's
you'll
just
see.
really stupid.
There's
It's
actually
like a
there's
top
only
and bottom entrance.
yeah. I mean, there's only one door that actually leads to items, and one of them is the Recollection Hex, which is the one which fires out the skulls.
Yeah. What is that hex that fires out the single skull again? The one that lowers enemy defenses. Recollection is essentially that, but it fires out a shower of skulls that track. I don't think it lowers defenses. I think it's like a homing arrow sort of thing for hexes.
Yeah, something like that.
I can't remember what the name of the one that fires out the single skull. Whisper of Despair? I think it's Whisper of Despair.
Maybe.
I think it's Whisper of Despair. The one that when you hit your opponent with it, it's essentially like that.
To be fair, the description will tell you what it does.
It's like Soul Shower, but for hexes, and it fires loads of little skulls. I'm still not too sure if they actually like lower your opponent's defenses. If they do, that would be really good because they hit quite reliably.
So this is the door that just leads to other enemies.
At least turn another door, yeah. There's no reason to go that way. Pro tip as well, if you're in a hurry, you can just drop off the side and you can survive that fall if you're at full HP, by the way.
Yeah, so that's the thing.
You can do that instead of going through the room which has a couple of the explosive guys in it, just to get to a ladder. But,
and then the last door is the one that actually leads
at the very end. It's the very first door on the if you go by where the cliffside is as your starting point.
Now, for some reason, when you open that door, the guy always
No, he always
explodes.
does that.
And then this one's now on fire now. Yeah, basically, if they're on fire, they'll just run up to you, but they'll stop to explode, so they're easy to deal with.
Yeah, like you don't even need to worry about them. They're very fucking simple. This is quite a long ladder climb down, but this is going to take us to the Scorching Iron Scepter, which is essentially your key to unlock the entire DLC. When you get this, you can go anywhere you want in the DLC, which is really fucking good. Apart from Sir Alon's memory, you have to kill Fume Knight to access that. But you can go pretty much anywhere in the DLC aside from there. You can even go all the way up to Sir Alon's memory idol sort of thing, but you can't actually access the memory. You can still get the bonfire that's there for later. So this is just these guys. You just want to bait them out and just wait for them to blow up because they're already on fire. There's a pretty interesting glitch that can happen where one of the guys in the main room, if you grab the Scorching Iron Scepter before killing any of them, one of the guys in the main room can be fixed in that sort of I'm going to blow up stance, and he can never get out of it unless a one explodes next to him and knocks him out of it. It's pretty strange. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this DLC really. We're going to stop after we get the Scorching Iron Scepter because it's a nice little stopping point, and the next part is obviously going to include Fume Knight and the extra areas around the foyer before we get to that boss, of course.
Yeah.
And if you guys have been having trouble with Fume Knight, then good news, we're your one stop for exactly how to skill him.
Yeah.
I almost flawlessed him.
Yeah, I mean, the Fume Knight can be
twice.
like,
that's fucking awesome.
The Fume Knight can be so difficult. Like, I mean, it took us so many tries to beat him the first time. But if you know how, like, basically it's not a case of if you know how to beat the Fume Knight. If you know how to cheese the bosses with a particular build, pretty much no boss will give you any hassle. So
I mean, that is essentially it. I mean, this method is so easy. Like, as I said, I hadn't played Dark Souls 2 since like maybe 3 weeks before Bloodborne came out. It was the last time I played Dark Souls 2. I think the last time I played Dark Souls 2 was the Dark Souls 2 tournament that I was in.
Yeah.
I think that was the last time I played it, and that was about 2 or 3 weeks before Bloodborne came out. And I beat Fume Knight first try, and I know Fume Knight is a difficult boss. And don't even sit there and say just dodge his attacks, because that is on par with that weapon shit, just parry it. Fuck up. I'm not even joking. That's like the worst reasoning you can possibly have. He's easy, you can dodge him. You can dodge every fucking boss.
Yeah.
The point is, people have difficulty with Fume Knight, and Fume Knight is a difficult boss, and he's probably the best boss in the game. In my opinion, anyway, he is the best boss in the game for me. Like, hands down, he's the best boss in the game. I mean, Ava's pretty cool. An old Ivory King, a burnt Ivory King, sorry,
it's impressive
really
to look
nice.
at.
It's really nice, but the part of old Ivory King that I like the most is the bit before the fight when it's pure chaos.
Yeah.
After that, the boss is just another boss. But Fume Knight is amazing. I love Fume Knight.
Yeah, no, definitely, because he's got a lot of attacks. He's
Sir Alone's in this DLC as well, and he's another really good boss. I honestly think this DLC is the strongest of the three.
Yeah.
In terms of how you play it, I think this is the strongest of the three. Shulva has really good level design. I'm not denying that. Shulva is really good level design on a single player basis. On a co-op basis or an invasion basis, it's fucking awful. But that's just because invaders and summons can't activate the switches, which is fucking.
So that's the scepter in. This we never actually. Oh, there you go. There's the end.
Yeah.
We never actually went to the bonfire or whatever. But this just seemed to be the best cutting off point.
Yeah, but that's it, guys. Links are on screen for all our information. Of course, if you want to help us out, there's a donation link down below if you're feeling generous. But don't worry about it. Watching the video is perfectly fine. If you guys learn something new, leave a like. You know, someone else is having trouble, I suppose you can tell them. I don't know. Do what they fucking want. It's YouTube.
Hope you enjoyed this episode.
It doesn't matter what we say now. You're probably not watching, because I mean, you came, you skipped to the bit you wanted. You're done. We're done. See you later.
Exactly.
Bye.
Bye.